So, dear students, today our topic is human tissue. So, already know the tissue is group of a cells. Okay, it is mainly classified into four types. So, each tissue, so they'll be having perform specific functions, but the functions are limited. So, tissue are responsible for the formations of the organ, and organs are responsible for or group together, so they involved in the formations of system, and all systems are unique together, so they are responsible for the formations of the organisms. Okay, the tissue, so they are mainly formed from the cells or group of cells, and each cells and in the tissue, so they will be having the unique functions. So first we learn regarding the definition. So tissue is a collection of cells and extracellular materials, so that perform a specific but limited range of functions. Okay, some, so they are group of cells, so they having only specific functions. For example, the tissue of glands, so they having only secrete the secretion, whatever secretion, so they are synthesized in the glands, or so they are synthesized special substances where they are present. So that's why, so they perform the specific function, but those functions are limited. Okay, so not the varieties, so they having the unique and limited functions. And here the study of tissues, its features, its occurrence, and as well as its normal physiology, then as well as abnormal physiology, so that was known as the histology, that is study of the tissues, so that is termed as a histology. And here the tissues, so they are mainly classified into four types, that is epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue, so they are mainly present in the lining of the organs, for example blood vessels. Okay, so outer layer and as well as the inner layer, so that is the locations of the epithelial tissue. So it is mainly present lining and as well as covering of the organ. So that's why, so epithelial tissues play important role in the protections of the underlying organs, and as well as these epithelial tissue, they are also involved in the absorptions or to supply the nutrition to the underlying organ, because so they are mainly present in the lining organs. So here the blood is flow, and whatever the nutrients required for that blood vessels or that organs where that epithelial tissues are present, so where that epithelial tissue can supply, because epithelial tissues, so they are mainly involved in the absorptions of the material, electrolyte, nutrition, and supply to the organs or supply to the glands. So then only glands utilize those substances and involved in the synthesis of the new proteins and as well as the new hormones. And second type of tissue, so that is known as the connective tissue. So as the name indicates, it is involved in the connections of the, or it can interconnect the different tissues. For example, if any organ, so that was formed with the help of muscular tissue and epithelial tissue and inner lining, so that was present of the connective tissue. So that's why connective tissue, it can hold the muscular tissue, so that of the epithelial tissue, it acts as the connector and it acts as the binder. And connective tissue, its main function, it can protect the delicate organ as well as it can support the body along with the interconnections that of with the muscular tissue and epithelial tissue. It's mainly involved in the protections of the underlying organs. For example, the bone is a connective tissue, so that bone, it can protect the brain as well as whatever the organs, so they are present in the thoracic cavity. For example, heart, lungs, it can work, it can be acts as the protections, and also it can support the body. So that is the main features of the tissue. And third type, that is the muscular tissue. Okay, so they are made up of the muscle cells or muscle fiber, and muscular tissue is mainly involved in the formations of organs. Okay, so main function, muscular tissue or fiber, muscular tissue, so they are mainly to generate a certain physical force. So that force is helpful for to regulate the locomotions as well as movement of the substances from one place to the another place. So that's why the muscular tissues, so they are play important role in the regulations of the functions or to perform the functions of the organ. For example, heart is consist of the cardiac muscle, and cardiac muscle is a type of muscular tissue. So where that muscles, so they can carry a certain force, so that force was helpful for movement of the blood from one part of heart to the another part, from heart to the different part of the body. It required certain pressure, so that pressure or force was created by the cardiac muscle. So that's why the muscular tissue, they are play important role in the movement of the substances or locomotions. For example, skeletal muscle, so their contraction relaxation, then only it possible to maintain our locomotion activity or motor activity. If the skeletal muscle contraction was fail, means where we are unable to move from one place to the another place, or where we are unable to hold the pens to write some things, so that condition was known as the paralysis. So that's why the muscular tissues, so they have capability to generate its own physical force. So that force was helpful for the contraction and relaxations of the muscle. So that property of the muscle is helpful for the movement of the substances or locomotions of the body. Okay, then last one is the nervous tissue. So it is mainly found in the brain or central nervous system. So these nervous tissues, it is generate the nerve impulses and play important role in the homeostasis or homeostasis. Okay, so nervous tissue, it can generate the action potential or information. So that information reaches to from one neuron to the another neuron, and as well as from one organ to the another organ. So due to collections of that message, so those organ read that message, and according to that message only the organs are involved in the working. So that's why, so the nervous tissues play important role in the regulations of the functions, and as well as it can create the communications between, that is the brain, and as well as the, so that of the different parts of the body. So these are the different types of the tissue. So next one regarding origin of tissues. So already you know, so after fusion of the egg, that of the sperm, so they can form the embryo. So embryo is nothing but these are the multi layers, and those layer, so they are formed with the help of the primary germ cell layer. And these primary germ layer cells, so they mainly having the three type of cells. One is the mesoderm, ectoderm, and endoderm. So these are the different cells responsible for formations of the germ layer cell in the embryo. And these cells only, so they are responsible the formations of the different type of tissues. Then only, so these tissues, they are unique together or joined together, so they are responsible for the formations of the different organ and different systems. So here the germ cell like mesoderm, it was responsible for, or with the help of mesoderm, the epithelial tissue is formed, as well as the connective tissue is also formed from the mesoderm primary germ cell, and as well as the muscular tissue, it is also formed from the mesoderm. And regarding the ectoderm, so ectoderm cells, so they are unique together, grouped together, so they also responsible for formations of the epithelial tissue, and as well as the nervous tissues or neural tissues, so it can form from the cell like ectoderm. And endoderm, it was responsible for, or endoderm cells, they together join together, so they are forms the epithelial tissue. So what are tissues they are forms, so they are helpful for the formations of the different organs. So here epithelial tissue, it can support the underlying organs, and connective tissues, it covers, and as well as it can protect the organ, or it can interconnect the different tissues. And muscular tissue, they are play important role in the to regulate the movement of the fluid or movement of the various nutrients or substances. And as well as neural tissue, it is involved in the controlling of the organ functions or in the communications. So next one is the introduction to epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue, so they are mainly present in the covering or lining of the body surfaces of the organs or cavities, or even the blood vessels or tubes. So that, so they are present in the lining and covering of the each and every organs or surfaces are in the tubes and other cavities. So that's why they are known as the covering epithelia. So epithelial tissues are nothing but the group of the cells, they having the different shapes. And the epithelial tissues, they form the functional unit of secretory glands. Okay, whatever the glands are there, so their secrets, their own secretions, so that secretion is done with the help of the epithelial tissue only, or the epithelial tissue, so they are underlying the gland. So those epithelial cells, so they are involved in the secretions of the substances, so that was secreted in the that was synthesized in the gland. So that's why epithelial tissues are also known as the glandular epithelia. Okay, so next is regarding the characteristics of epithelia. So in the epithelial tissue, all cells, so they are closely packed. So between cells, so there is no that much of the space. So due to that, the ground matrix or substances, so they are less found in the epithelial cells or epithelial tissue. So that's why the epithelial tissue easily cut. But regarding connective tissue, so ground material between the cells is more because the space is more in the connective tissue. So where the jelly-like substance are present. So due to that, there is no possible for cutting of the connective tissues. But it is possible during the surgery. Easily we can cut the epithelial tissue because there is no that much of the extracellular matrix are present between the two cells of the epithelial and epithelial tissues because due to lack of the surface. And as well as the apical cells, so they are exposed to external or as well as the internal surfaces. And these apical cells are epithelial cells, so they are rapidly divided or they are rapidly multiplied and they rapidly replaces. So due to this reason, the epithelial cells are also known as the apical cells. So where, so they are rapidly divide and rapidly, so they forms the new cells and rapidly, so they are replaces from the particular places of the organ. So due to that, so these epithelial tissues are cells, so they are involved in the regeneration or repairing and growth of the organs. And so epithelial cells, so they are attached together and present on a one basement membranes. Okay, so some basement membrane is there. So on the basement membrane, the epithelial cells are grouped together. So they are responsible for the formations of the epithelial tissues. And cells continually they are replaced because they are the apical in natures. So regarding the functions of epithelial tissue, so epithelial tissue, so they are play important role the physical protections of the underlying organs. So because so they are mainly present in the lining and as well as covering of the organs. So water toxic substance, so they are present in the blood, so they cannot be injury. So due to presence of the epithelial tissue in the covering area and as well as the lining area. So that's why epithelial tissues, it can give the physical protection to the organs. Okay, so next one, the epithelial tissue, so they are control the permeability, that is entry of substances inside the organs and outside the organs. So where the epithelial tissues are present, so it cannot be allow easily entry of substances any. So whatever the substances or nutrition electrolytes that was required by the organ, so then only it can allow the such substances. So that's why the epithelial tissues, it's play important to control of the permeability of that underlying organs. And as well as, so these epithelial tissue, they are react with the trigger or sensory receptions, any changes in the environment easily, so they can detect according to that only, so they can react. For example, so inside your nose, so that is the also the locations of the epithelial tissues. Any dust material, if they enter in the nose, means immediately the mucus secretion is secreted, or if warm air if enter in the nose, means easily, so that warm air it becomes a wet due to nasal secretions. So that's why, so epithelial tissue, so they can easily and rapidly it can interact with the any sensations or trigger or sensory receptions. According to that, it can adjust the environment of that particular underlying organ. So that's why once again it is play important role in the to react with the receptions or sensory reception, and it is involved in the protections of the underlying organs. Okay, and the epithelial tissues, so they also play important in the secretions of the specialized substances, those are secreted in the particular underlying organs. And epithelial tissues, it's also play important role in the absorptions of the substances from extracellular fluid then back to the our organs. So that organ was required various nutritions, even oxygen. So that is the work of the epithelial tissue. It can absorb from the body fluid and supply to the underlying organs. Okay, so epithelial tissue also play important role in the supply of the nutritions or along with the electrolytes. And epithelial tissue is also involved in the filtrations of the body fluids, because the glomerular apparatus, it is a part of the kidney. So that apparatus, it is involved in the filtrations of the body fluids or blood, then responsible for the formations of the urine. So that glomerular apparatus, it is made up of the multi-layer of epithelial tissue. So due to multi-layer arrangement in the glomerular apparatus, it acts as the mesh through which our body fluid can be filtered. So that's why the epithelial tissues play important role in the filtrations of the body fluids. And also epithelial tissues play important role in the slippery surfaces for movement of the substance due to presence of epithelial tissue. So that underlying tubes or cavities, it become the slippery. So that slippery portion is helpful for the movement of the food from oral cavity to the esophagus, esophagus to the stomach, stomach to the small intestine, then large intestine. Because so the GIT also underlined by the epithelial tissue, and that epithelial tissue, it can forms the slippery surfaces due to secretions of the its secretions or mucus. So due to secretions of mucus from the epithelial tissue, it is helpful for the movement of the substances or movement of the food from one place to the another place. So these are the major functions of the epithelial tissues. Major function is it is involved in the filtration and as well as absorptions of the nutritions from blood to back to the our organs, and as well as it can protect the our organ, underlying organ, from physical injury as well as chemical injury. So next one is the classifications of epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue, so mainly classified into different types. First we learn regarding the classifications according to the thickness. Okay, if thickness is less, so those are known as a simple epithelial tissue. So where the cells are made up of the single layer of cells present on the basement membrane, and such epithelial tissues are known as the simple epithelial tissue. And also, so they are consist of the multi-layer, and those are known as the stratified epithelial tissue. So according to thickness, so here the epithelial tissues, they are mainly classified into two types, that is simple epithelial tissue, stratified epithelial tissue. Simple means so they having only single layer, and stratified they having the multi-layer more than two or more than one. And such arrangement if are present in the epithelial tissue means, and those epithelial tissues are known as the stratified epithelial tissues. And epithelial tissues is also classified according to the shape of the cells that was present in the epithelial tissues. So first one is the squamous epithelial tissue. So where the tall is the wider is then the tall, so that is the cells having the like that arrangements. Okay, so such safe is present in the epithelial tissue means those are known as the squamous epithelial tissue. Cuboidal, and second classification is the cuboidal epithelial tissues, so where they are tall as wide, so that is the they act as a rectangle. Okay, such tissues are known as the cuboidal epithelial tissue. Then third step, that is the columnar epithelial tissues, so they are taller than the wide. Okay, such tissues are known as the columnar epithelial. So according to shape, the epithelial tissues, so they are mainly classified into three types: chymous epithelial tissue, as well as cuboidal epithelial tissue, then as well as the columnar epithelial tissue. So next, there is the detailed classifications of epithelial tissue. The first is the simple epithelial tissues. Once again, here the cells are arranged on the single layer with the different shape. Okay, according to shape, according to arrangement of the layer, so they are mainly classified into simple epithelial tissue, and according to the shape of the cells, once again, so they are sub classified into four types, that is squamous epithelial, simple epithelial tissues. So these tissues, so they are mainly found in the lining of the lungs, Bowman capsules, as well as in the heart. So in the lungs, so these squamous simple epithelial tissue, it is helpful for the removal of the waste material from the lungs. For example, sputum. The sputum is removed from lungs to the towards the oral cavity or outside the body. So that is the work of the squamous simple epithelial tissues. Then columnar simple epithelial tissues. Okay, so they having the column like shape of the cells arrangement on a single layer. So these are mainly present on the alimentary tract, so where, so they are helpful for the movement of the food from one place to another place, and as well as absorptions of the food material after digestion and secretions of the enzymes in the alimentary tract or GIT or digestive tract. So where the food can be digested. So where with the help of enzymes, so those enzymes are secreted from the columnar simple epithelial tissue, and after digested food it can be absorbed and back to the our blood. So that is also work of the columnar simple epithelial tissues. So next one is the cuboidal simple epithelial tissues. That is the example is they are mainly present in the bronchioles, then as well as salivary gland and thyroid gland. So here the cuboidal simple epithelial tissues, its major function is, so they are involved in the secretions of the secretions from the bronchioles. It is involved in secretions of the mucus or bronchial secretions in the salivary glands. So they are involved in the mainly secretions of saliva that is required for the digestion of food in the oral cavity, and in the thyroid gland, so they are involved in the secretions of the T3 and as well as the T4. Next one is the ciliated simple epithelial tissue, so squamous, so they will be having the certain structure, the hair-like structure in their origin or in their surfaces. So this hair-like structure are cilia are ciliated. These due to hair-like structure, so they are helpful for the movement of the certain substances. And these ciliated simple epithelial tissues, so they are mainly found in the respiratory tract, fallopian tube, central canal of spinal cord. So here in the central spinal cord, so they helpful for the movement of the certain cerebrospinal fluid or electrolyte inside the spinal cord. In the fallopian tubes, so they are helpful for the movement of the ovum or egg. Okay, in the respiratory tract, so they are helpful for the removal of the oily substance or dust or waste material as well as sputum from lungs and back to the our oral cavity or outside the body. So that is the work of the ciliated due to presence of cilia, that is possible for the certain movements of the ovum or as well as sputum or oily substances or any water droplets, they are entering the respiratory tract, so that easily removed. So due to presence of the ciliated simple epithelial tissues, and also they are present in the central canal of spinal cord, so where they are helpful for the movement of the electrolytes according to the action potential that was comes from the brain or CNS. Okay, so next one is the compound or stratified epithelial tissues. Here the cells, so they are arranged in the multiple layer. Okay, so due to that they are known as the stratified epithelial tissues and compound epithelial tissues. Once again, so they are four types. It is transitional stratified epithelial tissues, so they are mainly present in the kidney, ureters, urinary tract and urethra, so where they are helpful for the reabsorptions as well as the secretions and the movement of the urine. Then stratified squamous conified, so that is the skin, they are mainly present in skin, nails and palms. The major function is, so they are play important role in the protections of the underlying organs. Okay, so next one is the stratified squamous non-cornified, so they're mainly present in the mouth, pharynx, esophagus, vagina, cervix as well as the urethra. So where they play important role in the productions of the underlying organs, or so they play important in the framework of the underlying organs. So next one is the stratified columnar epithelial tissues. So they mainly find in the conjunctiva, pharynx, and as well as the mucus. So they play important role in the productions of the or framework of the underlying organs. Then third classifications of epithelial tissue, that is the glandular epithelial tissue. So they were the epithelial tissue play important role in the secretion, and secretion was done by the three mechanisms, that is exocrine. Due to exocytosis, the secretion was secreted due to accumulations of calcium. So these cells are shrinkage. So due to shrinkage of these cells, the size of the gland was decreases. Due to that, what are substances? So they are synthesized in the gland. They can pour into our circulations. Next one is the apocrine. So they directly releases the apical cytoplasma directly to the cytoplasma. Then halocrine, these cells are brushed out, and whatever substances secreted in the cells, so they directly enter into our blood. So these are the three mechanisms through which the epithelial tissue they are secreted the secretion into our blood. They are mainly found in the glands, or also known as the glandular epithelial tissue. So diagram regarding the epithelial tissues. So this is the first diagram, belongs to the simple epithelial tissue schemata. So the structure is there. So that is they are wider than the taller, and such shape is known as schemata. And here single layer is present and present on the basement membrane. So those are known as simple schemous epithelium. But regarding the ceticoid, same cells, so they are present in the multi-layer. So due to that, they are known as the compound schemous epithelial tissue or stratified schemous epithelial tissue. Then cuboidal shaped cells, so they are same taller as well as the wider, and they are present in the single layer on the basement membrane. So due to that, they are known as the simple cuboidal epithelium tissue. And same cells, so they are present in the multi-layer. So due to that, they are known as the stratified cuboidal epithelium. Then last one is the columnar. So here they are taller than the wide. So and also certain columnar they are having the hair like structure, so that is known as cilia or ciliated columnar epithelial tissue. Here the single layer is present, so those are known as the simple columnar epithelium. And same cell shape, so they are present in the multi-layer, those are known as the stratified columnar epithelium. And regarding the features, the epithelial tissue they will be having the single nucleus. You can see each cell having the only one nucleus. So these are the diagrams of the important epithelial tissues. So they are mainly classified into two types due to arrangement of the layer of the cells. If it is single layer means those are known as the simple epithelial tissues. They are multiple layer means, so they are known as the stratified epithelial tissues. And according to shape, so they are mainly classified into, once again, subclassified into three types: schemous, cuboidal, and as well as the columnar. So next one is the muscular tissue. So muscular tissues, so they are mainly forms from the muscle cells, and those are known as the muscle fiber. And these muscle cells are muscle fiber, so they having the capability to generate the physical force. Okay, so that force is helpful for the movement of the body, because so these muscle fiber, so they are mainly consist of the contractile proteins like actin, then myosin, troponin, and tropomyosin. So these are the contractile protein, so they are present in the muscle tissues or muscle fiber. So due to decrease the size or interactions between actin and myosin protein, the size of the muscle was decreases. So that was known as the contraction. Once again they replaced to their original position, so that was known as the relaxation. So due to contraction and relaxation's property of the muscle cells or muscle fiber, so that was helpful for the to regulate the locomotions or movements, and as well as to create a certain forces on the blood. So that was helpful for the movement of the blood along with nutrition from one place to the another place. And so what are the movements of organisms are there? So that was mainly depending upon the muscular tissue, especially example is a skeletal muscles. If skeletal muscle they do not properly contract and relaxation means, so that condition was known as the paralysis. If they cannot be contracted means, so they remain in the relaxations. So to relaxation, so there is no movement is possible, and those due to that, so the movement or locomotions all are fail. So that condition was known as the, that is the relaxations. Okay, if they are present in the contraction positions, once again they do not relax and they remain in the contraction. So after contraction, so they are failed to relax. So that condition was known as the strains or spasm. Okay, if it is related to skeletal muscle means, so that was known as the strains. If it is related to the smooth muscle mean, so that was known as a spasm. Both are the abnormal conditions, so where the muscles are cannot properly contract and properly relax. Okay, the cytoplasma of the muscle fiber or muscle cells is known as the sarcoplasma. Okay, in the another cell, in the normal cell we are termed as the cytoplasma, but in the muscle tissues or in the muscle fiber, so that was known as the sarcoplasma. So this sarcoplasma, it mainly consists of the network of membrane, so those are known as the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so this membrane is surrounded by a muscle fiber, so that was known as the sarcolemma. So this sarcolemma or sarcoplasmic reticulum, so they are play important role in the contraction and relaxations of the muscle. So that was required for the locomotions or to create the certain forces on the body parts or organs. So regarding the properties of muscle, the first property of the all muscle tissues is known as the contractility. That is the ability of muscle cells to decrease its size. Okay, decrease its size due to certain forces, that was known as the contractibility. Okay, extensibility, the muscle is ability to stretch or increase its size. Okay, so due to any stimuli or any release of hormones or entry of substances or drugs, so where the muscles are stretched out, so that was known as the extensibility property of the muscular tissues. Okay, so then elasticity, so after forcefully stretched, so they are replaced into its own positions. Okay, our own size. So that property of the muscle tissues was known as the elasticity. Then next one is the excitability. So according to any stimuli, so muscles can give the response or the muscle cells can give the response according to that stimuli, so they can work. So that was known as the excitability. So excitability is responsible for to perform the functions of the organs. For example, the cardiac muscles are contracted to create the pressure on the blood, and that blood can move from one place to another place. So that cardiac muscles contracted by getting the stimuli from the SA node. Okay, so SA node, so these are the pacemaker cells, so they are present in the cardiac muscles. Okay, towards the opening of the superior vena cava. So that action SA node, it can create the stimuli or action potential. So that action potential travel different parts of the cardiac muscles. So that is the stimuli. So according to that stimuli, the cardiac muscles, so they are involved in the contractions. So that contraction is helpful for the to movement of the blood or to create the pressure on the blood. Then only blood can move from one part of her to the another part, from her to the different parts of the body. So this is the property of the all muscle tissues. So the muscle tissues or muscle cells, so they give the responses to the any external stimuli. For example, excess of sodium, after eating of excess of sodium, our blood concentration of sodium was increases. So as the sodium concentration increases, automatically in the brain the excitation is occurs. For example, so when you are consuming the coffee, automatically the thoughts or idea is more generated in the brain because the nervous tissues. Okay, so that is also made of a smooth muscle, so they can react with the that